Uh, Rogers calls me cash tab, so I have kept as it is because I deal with cash. And I'm the global lead on cash programming from international headquarters. How many of you know or are aware of cash? I know it's a very silly question, but it's very important. I want full hands, not half hands. Wow. How many of you don't know of cash? So everyone knows. So it makes me easy to go ahead with the subject. Before I go, I think Roger had some announcements to make before I start my session. Shall I say thank you to Roger or not? I don't know. I didn't expect this news before at least the cash session. Is it okay? So, reactions? Lake chat coordinator? We think that it's something rocket science, cache programming. When we say cache modality, we get to hear, okay, it's a new modality. How do we work? We don't have choice. It's basically it's cumbersome. We will see the reactions what we had from different country offices, but I'll park this point here and I'll go ahead and we'll see what we think about the beneficiaries. And just to let you know, I will be speaking on this because it is being recorded. It will be shared with Reza. So sorry, I'll take questions after the session, if it is fine. So introduction, just to give you the session content is we'll be speaking about the trends and trends in the cache programming, Plan International Cache Programming, why cache, a case study in Central African Republic CAR, and the way forward with achievements. When I went to different country offices, I have been to at least 45 countries, but in 30 plus countries in Plan in last 4 years. And in several country offices, when I started speaking about cache, these were the reactions. Why cache? It will undermine our development work. Yeah? It will increase dependency. It will increase corruption. People will misutilize. Some said no existing capacity in the country office. How do we go about it? Let us not get into cache business. It was something considered as something external or something foreign object. Authorities do not approve, like countries like maybe in Egypt or Sudan. These were the responses. Authorities, maybe now in Bangladesh as well for Rohingya refugee response. Authorities do not approve. We have to go for FD7s for approvals. Forget about cache. And some very few said, okay, let's go ahead. And those very few countries where I can say Nepal, where when I was deployed within 24 hours of the earthquake, and I spoke to Matthias, and I was the first field ERM there before Oni arrived. I said, what about cache? He said, we don't have capacity and we have zero experience, the country director of Nepal. I said, we can manage, I can manage that. And he said, if you think you can manage, go ahead. And that go ahead was a big, big signal for me. And we ended up spending 5 million, close to 5 million euros in 6 to 8 months. So that became a history in the Plan Federation as well. So the key message is, if you hit the right head, the right hierarchy on the head to penetrate so that nail can go inside, so hit the head properly and get communication properly done. Then you get the message and you get the work done. So hierarchy is very important, and how you are influencing, how you are trying to promote your sector, your business, that depends upon the location and situation and also the hierarchy you are handling. Let me tell you some of the cache trends so far. Before 2005, it was not the key feature in humanitarian response. And let me tell you, as I stand here as a cache specialist, as Roger has given me the designation, but I was against cache as well. And my reactions were something like that the previous slide had. Corruption, it will undermine development. And in my previous employment as well, we used to experiment cache through different partners. And that's how I got to know the evidences that yes, cache really works. And also to make things simple, that we have been using cache in our own life to achieve education objectives, achieve shelter objectives, achieve food objectives, miscellaneous, non-food items, whatnot. So if we can use cash, and we have seen this cash since our childhood, isn't it? And the people which we are working for, they have also seen cash. It's not new to them. So if we can use cash for our own objectives to be met and to be achieved, and to be exchanged in the marketplace, why not the same for beneficiaries? When we are implementing projects now, traditionally we never say it's an in-kind programming project. Do we say that? Lake child response, there are several in-kind response. We don't say that because we understand by default that it's an in-kind response. But again, when we just change the modality to cash, why do we say it's cash programming project? I'm trying to make things simple as a layman's language. It's a simple project. It has different modalities, maybe vouchers, maybe cash, maybe in-kind. Just to put things in a simpler form. And I wouldn't say thanks to the big emergencies like Haiti or Pakistan, but again, those were the instances or the opportunities where cash was really used, and you can see the figure how it went high. But still, cash is programming as a modality is still very low in the humanitarian response. There was a shift from proof of concept to proof of evidence and proof of acceptance as well. And if you see the crisis like Syria, Typhoon Haiyan in Philippines, and Nepal, that really gave the push and the boost to go for cash programming. And those became the evidences. Whatever we do today as cash programming, as evidence, that becomes the theory later on. We don't have any theory for cash. Whatever we do, if it's a success story, it's a best practice. If it is not, it's a challenge, and how do we try to mitigate in future, and how do we learn the lessons from that? That's as simple as that. So in 2015, 14, if you see the portfolio of cash was just 6% in the humanitarian response, and 15 it was 7%, and now it is increasing. I think it is close to 8 to 9% now, if you see, at the ends of 2017. But there is also an issue like how we report. Maybe it is not really reported well. And I will discuss this in the challenges as well, like why cash is not really reflected. If you see this 2015 or 14 here, WFP, just to let you know, WFP or PAM has been a big partner for us, and their mandate is food security, food aid. And they have been moving towards from food to cash. They are new to cash, but still they are the biggest player in the humanitarian response now. So if we want to tap into the cash programming, I think we should be moving close towards WFP, because if they are the biggest players, being new, they would still be the biggest player because they have the wider coverage and wider outreach. How does PLAN figure in the global perspective? We are a member of CALP, that is Cash for Learning Partnership. It's a global platform. It's a coordination mechanism as well, and we have a paid membership, and we are also one of the technical advisors to CALP. I represent PLAN International there. We are also co-chairing the Global Cash and Market Working Group under Global Food Security Cluster at Rome, where WFP and FAO serves as a secretariat for us, and we co-chair with World Vision. I think which itself is a big achievement, because we try to push the agenda of cash at the global level, and also it's a visibility, it's a recognition for the partners and donors as well, and we market that our achievement to sell our identity and profile to the different donors. We also have a global cash capacity statement. I don't know how many have seen. The link is there. I will be sharing the presentation with Nobe. It is already shared, so you'll get it. As I said, in Philippines, my first deployment was Philippines. Within the day I joined, Haiyan was hitting, so I knew that my deployment would be Philippines, and I was there, just thrown away there and dropped, and you have to find your own means how to go about it. And we started cash programming there. Within 20 to 25 days, we started delivering cash through Cash for Work and unconditional cash transfer. So, and that's how we reach around 5 million in a period of 1 year. And we developed capacity and formed a team, and we have a cash specialist there at the moment. And there are some lessons in Philippines which we tried to mitigate in Nepal, and the response was quick, and I was deployed within 24 hours. I had just returned from Philippines and deployed immediately there. And we had to start from scratch, from zero. Just for Belobe, like if you start from scratch, it's more easy. Everything is new. If you have the go ahead from the leadership, you have the blessing in disguise as well, and it's easy to go ahead, go forward. And that's how we developed the capacity. And my team member, who is Binod Koraila, he's from Nepal. We developed his capacity. He was instrumental in spending this between 6 to 8 months with $5 million with another international cash specialist. And we have a cadre of around 30 members in Nepal at the moment who have been trained on cash CALP level 1 equivalent. So which is a good resource. We can utilize it in our future response as well in the form of roster members. There are different types of cash. You must have heard about cash and vouchers, but there are different types. One is we can have cash grants, we can have unconditional cash, you can have cash for work, you have multiple cash grants, then you have vouchers which can be conditional, unconditional, which can be commodity or service vouchers as well. I would not go into the more of a detail, but now the buzz or the trend is the donors are pushing for it, like the donors like ECHO, OFDA or DFID, they're pushing for multi-purpose cash grants, which is the flavor of the season or flavor of the era now. So I would speak a bit about multi-purpose cash grant. Like before that, I would like to give you a simple difference between why do we say cash for work, conditional cash transfer, restricted. To keep it simple, cash for work it's also a conditional work, cash for work, but again it is largely used to have community assets created or rehabilitated, in simple words. But while when you say conditional cash transfer, it is the benefit goes to largely to there is a condition before the cash transfer, but the benefit goes to the beneficiary only, the direct beneficiaries. While the cash for work, when the benefit goes to direct beneficiary as well as the indirect beneficiary in the form of community. This is the major difference. When we say restricted cash transfer, it is again not to confuse, I would say the condition comes before the cash transfer, but the restriction comes after the cash transfer. Like for example, we are working for plan. Is it cash for work or conditional cash transfer? Anyone can say? Conditional. And who say cash for work? Anyone cash for work? True. So it's conditional cash transfer because the condition is you have to work for plan for 30 days a month or 22 days, yeah, and then you will receive your salary. But it is not serving the purpose of the community to create community assets. So it's not cash for work. So it's conditional cash transfer. But is it unrestricted or restricted? Unrestricted, because you're not asked what to spend. As Roger said, we'll be giving in kind. You are not supposed to go take cash. That's a restriction again. Yeah. Ian says, no, okay, you are not supposed to ask me what to spend on. So it's cash transfer, but it is unrestricted. And if you club it together, it's a multi-purpose as well because you are using it for multiple purposes. Yeah. And multiple cash transfer can have conditions and no conditions, restrictions, no restrictions. It depends upon the objective of the project or action. If the object of the project is conditional cash transfer to achieve some quality aspects and achieve maybe nutrition sector, so that is something which relates to quality and also to some objective as well. So you attach some conditions. Maybe in nutrition you ask maybe the severely acute malnourished child to be attending the stabilization center for treatment, and maybe the caretaker is asked to attend the child, and the caretaker in the form of mother or father will be paid cash for the number of days they will be staying in the stabilization center. That's how you achieve nutrition objectives through cash transfer. That's an example of conditional cash. Well, the multi-purpose cash transfer is it can cater to any need or any sector which you like as per the need. That's in the simple terms. Vouchers, it can be cash value, like if you have the telephone vouchers, you have credit value. That's a cash value. It's a simple form of cash voucher. Commodity voucher, you have most of them have been using PAM food vouchers, or you have gift hampers in the market. They have certain validity. It has to be used, and it has to be used for certain products. So you have conditions, you have restrictions as well. And service vouchers, sometimes maybe an agency provides you money voucher to the family to attend parenting sessions, to undertake vaccination for the child, to do some sessions on hygiene promotions, and it is provided by social safety net through a government. Like in Philippines, we have 4P program, which provides multi-purpose conditional cash voucher, where the where the parents are asked to attend the sessions on parenting. Children are provided with school facilities and education kits. So it's a multiple, it's a service voucher. So then we move to this multiple cash grant. As I said, it can cater to different sectors, different food. It started with food and livelihoods, now it can cater to anything. I think today, taking the lesson from Katrina's presentation, what she was saying that cash is largely used in different sectors. If you see the chart there, GBV, CPI, education, emergencies, cash is just the modality. As we use in our life, in our personal life, to use it for different sectors, maybe I don't know if you realize this ever or not. So we use it for our own different purposes or needs, which can be cornered with some or affiliated with some sectors. Same applies for the beneficiaries. I think this is a definition, I wouldn't go into that. When can we do the cash transfers? It's always a big question, and as I said, like, it can be undertaken at any stages. It can be at the preparedness stage, it can be at the disaster response stage, provided it's not very acute or the market is not functioning. Just to let you know, market is one of the very important preconditions for any cash transfers. If the market is functioning, cash can go. If the market is not functioning, like Roger said in the beginning, cash will have no impact. I'm just coming from Central African Republic. I went to Buka, which is a very remote place. I went and I passed through different villages, and they were selling this artisanal products, handicrafts. I purchased some handicrafts, and they asked money. I said, okay, fine, I'll give you money, but where is the market? They said, we have market. I said, no, I can't see the market. But they said, we have weekly markets. So which means they have access to markets as well, and they depend on the market. And that was a big tool for me. Like, we were looking for how cash transfer programming there, but we saw there is no market, and we were returning, okay, there is no market, how can we transfer cash? But that was a big achievement for us. Okay, we can use this market for our cash transfer, and we can use the multiple vouchers as well. And that was a big lesson for us. And that's also one of the recommendations that we should use as a plan B. If a service provider is not there, we can use these vendors through our vouchers to meet the different needs and different items to purchase at the marketplace. So it can happen, Mali or Car, we have chronic crisis, but still the market is functioning, people have their own livelihood, people are living. So it's business as usual. Maybe if there is some spikes, it stops, but again it regains back. So why cash transfers? There are humanitarian reasons, as colleagues were saying, especially the Lake Chad people, that you will have no choice if there is no cash. So it's obviously it empowers you, it gives you power, flexibility, choice, dignity, yeah, and also it links response to recovery as well. And again, it has got multiplier effect. Anyone understands multiplier effect? Very good, Roger. And again, just to add to that, he is conceptually strong. But he tried to frighten me in his opening remarks. Like, suppose if I have $100 and there are three, they are the dealers or they are the retailers, and I give, Roger is a dealer, and I give him $100. And what he does is, and he has a staff there, Nobe and Belobe, so he has employed them, so maybe he gives $20 each as salary, and he has $60. With this $60, maybe he replenishes his stock with $20, and he gets $40 to home. And he gives $20 each to Belobe and Nobe, and they in turn go to the market and have, partially they have their family needs covered, and partially they buy things. So you can see this $100 has gone to different stakeholders, and money multiplies. It has a multiplier effect in the market. It's not that $100 goes to only one person, it goes to different stakeholders and different people. So it has a multiplier effect, and it really stimulates the market. There are certain pragmatic reasons as well. It is cost efficient. If you have systems in place, if you have capacity, it is cost efficient. If you don't have these things in place, it will never be cost efficient. It will be rather a liability for you. Multiplier effects, as I said, and it supports trade and early recovery as well, economic recovery. And just to remind you, cash programming has been recognized by World Humanitarian Summit, and there are 10 grand bargains from the World Humanitarian Summit, and one of them is increasing cash programming, and which means as a humanitarian organization, we should be aligning with our global priorities and global policies as well. That is one of our obligation. Where is plan in cash programming? When I started, I had asked Uni at that time, what is our portfolio? He said, roughly 1 million. It was 2013. Then when we started, you can see how it has grown. 2014, we had Haiyan. Largely the response was there, and again other emergencies, Mali. So we had around 18 million 2014. 15 we had 32, 16 40, and 17 45. Let me tell you, these are very conservative figures. Region of Americas is not included in this. There has been gap in getting reports from them or information. So it's largely WARO, RO, and RESA. And if I say WARO, at least you have a share of at least 6 to 8 millions in this. I don't know you are aware of that or not. Mali has 2 millions, and different countries, if you mix it, around 6 million, you have a portfolio of cash at the moment. Challenge is we don't have a proper tool to measure cash. It's not only with plan, it's with different peer organizations, and also with globally as well. And globally we are trying to address this issue. It's still a big challenge. Like in SAP, we can't count cash. I was interacting with Sylvia, who was there in car. She's a SAP focal point. And she said, yes, it's a challenge. We have to work it out. How best, with a click of button, we can know how much portfolio we have in cash and plan at the moment. And same has, I think World Vision has a very good mechanism to measure cash. Other organizations are still struggling. OCHA has come out with some guidelines to measure cash, but it's still not yet officially operational. But there has been a recommendation by Overseas Development Institute to go for that model. But still it's easier to be adopted. So just to show you some journey, what are our achievements? We have grown from 1 to 45 million in 4 years. We have a cash capacity statement at the moment, which we are thinking to revise it in the next financial year. We have been providing deployment support and technical support to these countries. We have created a consultant. So then how do we save money? Then I try to chip in so that we have less money, and then I could give the support directly for a month. So the history goes like this. There was a conflict. I have named the communities here because it's an internal session. Otherwise, in external, I don't name the communities or the militia names. So there was a conflict between two communities, Christians and Muslims. I hate to say that, but again, I have to say it just to make go to the real context. And there was a conflict between these two militias, Selekas and Anti-Balaka. Selekas were in favor of Muslims. Anti-Balaka, they are actually atheists, but they support the Christians or something like that. So in 2015, I think the two communities left. The Christians left for Cameroon. Muslims were IDPs, and they stayed in a Catholic church in Berberati. That is very interesting. So that was also very new to me. Like, they have conflict, but again, the Catholic Church embraced them with open arms, and they were staying there for 18 months. So, but these Muslim communities, they had a good grip on the market. They were well off economically. So when the Christians started from Cameroon, returning, and they started to come from Cameroon, they occupied the houses of Muslims people. They thought they will never come back, and their houses were better. So when they occupied, they were called as occupants by the different stakeholders, by government as well. And realizing that, okay, the proprietors realized, okay, they have taken our houses, we should get our houses back. So when they went to get the houses back, they said, if you want your house back, you have to give us money. And the negotiation started from 200,000 ZAF, and it ended at 20,000 ZAF. But they didn't have 20,000 ZAF. So then they wanted money. The reason is so that they can take this money, they will repair their own abandoned houses, which was lying vacant, which was destroyed by the violence. This is how it happened. So and this is where we entered for an assessment. We said, okay, we can support, but our money will not be free, it will be conditional. And the government has to play the role to do the shifting to the houses, but we will play just the role as a facilitator, and we will provide cash for that. But the conditions will be such as that they have to achieve, I think I have already said about this. So we said the conditions will be that they have to we designed a project that was multi-purpose cash transfer with multiple basic needs, and which will include food security, temporary shelter, education, health, and also it will enhance protection among the communities, leading to social cohesion. This was the main goal of our project, and invest also in the ad hoc livelihood for improved survival. So the modality was a conditional. We planned that we will give not only 20,000 to one community, we will give as a humanitarian organization. We are governed by the humanitarian principles. We will give both the communities so that they can utilize the money to get their houses back. So we divided into two tranches, 20,000, 30 euros, or 30,000 and 45 euros. And we tried to, the condition was that there should be a memorandum of understanding between both the communities, that the occupants will leave the houses and the proprietors will come in, and this should be ensured by the government. And also they need to attend a session on the on social cohesion, protection, and also how they will utilize the cash. And accordingly money was distributed. We had post-distribution monitoring, and we found that 70% in the first post-distribution monitoring, 70% people had moved to their houses, but still 30% was remaining. The reason was that there were some people who were still in Cameroon, the proprietors. Some proprietors had also gone to Cameroon as well. They had not returned. So they didn't, and they also instructed the people that please don't leave our houses until we return. Otherwise it will be occupied by some other people. So that was the main reason. And then I went to, and we delivered this money through Orange Money. This was the plan B. The plan A was to distribute through the bank. I had already negotiated with the bank, but when we were about to distribute the money, the bank manager ran away with a lot of funds in Berberati. So then we stopped that, and we had to activate our plan B. And then we went for Orange Money. And with Orange Money, there was a big challenge, that KYC, know your customer compliance. Government said without a proper identity card, you cannot distribute cash. And this happens when I'm going to witness the distribution, I'm landing in Beverati and the information comes, you can't distribute with plan cards. So we had to transfer money to our colleagues, 5 colleagues, the wallets were created, and the money was transferred to our colleagues' account, plan colleagues, they were all in the center, Orange Money. And then from that, money was withdrawn in the Orange Center, and then it was distributed in cash in envelopes. It was all undertaken on the spot, and I was liaising with the country director. He said, you are authorized to take the decision, so we took decisions on the spot. So a lot of learnings on that. Then what was the output and outcome? Outputs were they received money. People were back to their houses. But I went to evaluate, I'm coming from Kara, and I was there on 18th of February. When I had met this community first in 2016, they were 8 separate groups. They couldn't come together, so such amount of friction was there. But now when I was there, they came together to meet us. Their places of worship was exchanged or occupied. Churches were made into mosques, mosques were converted into churches. So now they have returned the places of worship. That is a big achievement as well. And if you see, this is the mosque, this is the damaged one, and the other one is a church. And that has been rehabilitated now. That's the difference. So this is one of the biggest indicators of social cohesion, I would say. We had joint meetings in our office, and that was again a big cohesion because they never came together. They were almost attacking each other with a lot of violence. Children from both communities are going to school, which is also a big achievement in terms of social cohesion, because they had stopped education first of all, and second, they were having a lot of friction, and there was a lot of trauma attached to that. Children were really in trauma to go to school. And from both communities, they are working together now. They are going to field in search of diamonds or other precious stones, and they are doing livelihood together. And government says on interaction that the complaints have reduced by 90%. It is reduced to 10% now, which is also a big achievement because earlier these proprietors used to come there, they have taken a house, how to get it back. So now it is reduced. The complaints levels have also been reduced. So I can say with conviction that really we have achieved the social cohesion. This family the house belongs to the Muslim woman. You can see the children. The other lady is from the Christian community. She was divorced by her husband, and then she had no shelter, and We can see the neighborhood, it was so strong that with the neighbors that she took shelter or the family provided shelter, even they have limited capacity and limited livelihood options, but they're providing shelter to the other communities, which is also a bonding which is not there before. So we can say so this ends with the cash programming case study. What do? We do all those things what I said. Need assessments. We provide support. We develop support in the. We provide support in the response strategy. We try to fundraise as well in the red emergencies or orange 2 emergencies or orange 1, both from remote and field in the face-to-face support as well. Technical support, development of cash programming tools, capacity building. We also represent Global Cash and Market Working Group and represent plan at CALP as well. We try to mainstream and integrate with capacity building of program team with technical specialists, and also ensure the country office is properly prepared with all tools on cash programming and other aspects of market assessments. How can we work together? We have additional capacity thanks to GNO, CNO and NLNO for the support. I remember I had asked Roger in 2016 that I need a team. He said, okay, but there is no money. I said, okay, we can manage money. And this happened. And we have Binod Koirala. We have just started this 15th of Feb. What he can do, his mandate is 70% deployment. So he's available for deployment as if you ask today, he's ready to be deployed. We can identify suitable deployment for the coming months. And again, it's also on cost recovery, because we don't want to ask again the NO for the support next year. So we would like to revolve this money, because first of all, they don't want the money back. So it's good for us, so that we want to revolve this money for the next year. And he can undertake need assessment, include market assessment, technical support, and he is the one who was instrumental in spending around 5 million in 6 to 8 months in Nepal. So, and as cash, I said, it's a critical modality which is favored by different donors. If you say ECHO or OFDA, German donors, everybody is CEDA, everybody is pushing for cash. Thanks to Fabian who took me to the German donors, and after that I can see that it has really increased the cash programming when we visited in 2015, and thanks to his initiative on that. And also we have been meeting different donors. So what happens to me? I am still also available to be deployed whenever there is a need. If there is a more need, if Binod is not available, I am available to be deployed, as I was in CAR last 2 weeks. And I can provide support as well. So I look forward to your support and to work together. And as business as usual, also my time has to be budgeted in the grants. Everything is in cost recovery. I don't want to explain that. You know better than me. We have institutional memory sitting here, so we are all aware of that. Challenges, we have capacity issues. So it was 1, now we are 2 since 15 days. There has been a gap between supply and demand. Specifically, I would say we failed to support for the Lake Chad. I would apologize for that, but we had no capacity at the time, and there was some issues and gaps in the HR and also our deployment to other red emergencies. Reporting on cash programming, as I said, that it's a big challenge. We are trying to do it in a very primitive way, I would say, because there is no system. But we are also pushing with advocating with SAP so that we can have a proper count of cash. Cash Atlas was there by CALP, but again it is stopped at the moment. It is very ad hoc mechanism. We had started uploading information on that, but now it is stopped after the ODI's report that we should have a formal system. Maybe they are trying to introduce OCHA's financial accounting system so that we can upload on that. But still it's in the discussion mode. Way forward, we still want to expand the cash programming team with more experts, maybe in the more market experts and more technology-based experts, so that maybe we can go into the new trend of blockchain, which is new, the buzzword now, and also it is really what do you say, foolproof, risk-free cash transfer mechanism. Also develop a position paper and policy on cash. Maybe it's foreseen in FY18. Also enhance cash and voucher portfolio and plan as a federation. As I said, the cash is not limited to only food security or livelihoods. it can be done, it can be budgeted, or sorry, it can be programmed in any sectors. You give me any sector, I can convert into a modality for cash in that. I can bet on that. Strengthening and building the roster, we are at the moment we are working on that so that we have good roster, so that if there is a surplus, if there is a surge need, we can just deploy people on as quick as possible. So with this, I end my presentation. You can stop it. Thank you very much.